Always great to have you. Appreciate you being here. So I guess the first thing we want to talk about is this is a busy time of year for agriculture. This is a busy time of year for IANR. So talk to me about that. What are some of the things that we're focusing on right now? Because I think this is the time where IANR is really getting a chance to shine with everything going on in ag.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hi, Troy. It's great to be here, no question. It is a busy time. So, you think about the seasons, and I think agriculture is so connected to the seasons. So this morning we had a chance to visit with some producers, and of course the farmers are getting their planters hooked up to the tractor. They're all set to go. Everybody's watching the rain out in the west central part of the state. Everybody's thirsty, so they're hoping for another inch or so before planting. We're pretty well 2/3 of the way through calving. Some people haven't started, some are getting ready for branding. So in the life of agriculture in the state of Nebraska, it definitely is an exciting time. I think everybody's looking forward. The wheat's punching pretty fast here, so we'll see how that goes along. But on campus, it's also a busy time. Of course, we're in the final weeks of the spring semester. East Campus is bustling. This past week was Kasner Week, so all kinds of great opportunities, from students getting a chance to visit with our Undersecretary in Residence, Greg Ibach, to free ice cream at the dairy store. It's just really quite exciting. So we're all excited. I think our faculty and grad students are thinking about field days, getting out and getting their field plots established. So yeah, it's a busy time. It's exciting.
Yeah, and I thought maybe we could focus on some of the big things that have been happening thus far in 2021. I feel like a big thing we're going to be hearing a lot about is the Center for Ag Profitability. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a new center that's housed in the Department of Ag Economics. It's been in the works for a while. So I think most folks get that you can push yields so far and still not be profitable. So in the row crop agriculture space, this is about dialing in practices and approaches that maximize profitability, while also making sure that the regenerative practices on individual farms lead to land and soil and water that allows producers to produce for the next 6 generations. So this is a neat center. It's supported by bankers and lenders, but also producers. Again, as the name implies, Troy, just really dialed in, looking at net profitability for our producers, both livestock producers as well as our farmers. Yep.
And you mentioned Greg Ibach just a moment ago. He is back in Nebraska full time. We had him on the show not too long ago. Yep. It was great speaking with him. He's really excited about his new opportunity with IANR, and I know that you're thrilled to have him on board as well.
Yeah, Greg was, of course, the director of the Nebraska Department of Agriculture when I arrived some 5 seasons now ago, and Greg was great and generous at helping me make the transition from Ohio agriculture to Nebraska agriculture. Last 2 years he spent in President Trump's administration working in the USDA. So the chance to bring Greg in and tap his Rolodex that he developed, but also his passion and his understanding for Nebraska agriculture. Really important. He was responsible for the Animal Plant Health Inspection Service while he was at the USDA, and so as we think about different systems, ag security, biotechnology policy, making sure that our plants, our crops, and our livestock are secure from invasive pests and diseases is really a big deal. So Greg's just an all-around great person. He and Teresa, of course, are producers, so they bring that piece to the table as well.
And speaking of folks with political ties, Representative Don Bacon recently at the Gudmundsen Ranch. What did his visit mean to the cattle producers out there?
Yeah, well, I think we had the chance to visit with the congressman and his lead ag staffer out of D.C. and then his lead staffer back here in the 2nd District, both starting in Norfolk on that Monday, and we had a chance to visit with him about the Northeast Nebraska Agriculture and Natural Resources Education Compact. That's a mouthful, but really thinking about how we think about PK through 16. So our public school districts connected with our 2-year and 4-year institutions, all focused on success of students interested in agriculture. So that was great. And then on his way from Norfolk out to Whitman, just there in Cherry County to the Gudmundsen Sandhills Laboratory, he made a couple of stops, visited 3 ranches, had a chance to visit with 3 ranch families before he came to the research center. And while we were there, we had a chance just to have serious conversations about the Sandhills, 20,000 square miles of amazing agricultural landscape, carbon banking, carbon capture, carbon cycles, all in the news right now as we're thinking about where we're going. It was great. We had producers, we had ranchers, we had Sandhills task force members, all having a chance to visit with him. And I think he was really impressed. I mean, he grew up on a farm in Kankakee, Illinois, right there on the border of Indiana, and the reality was that I think he saw parts of Nebraska agriculture that he hadn't seen before, and I think he was appreciative, and that what he learned will serve him well on the House Ag Committee and the USDA Oversight Committee. So really, really great opportunity, and he was just a curious learner, I would say.
Definitely so, and I know that you love to brag on the folks within IANR, and I know that we've got some awards, we've got some grants that folks within IANR have received. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, I love to brag on our amazing faculty, staff, and students. So this last week we received word from NOAA and the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Association Administration, we found that we were re-pegged for a $3.4 million operating grant for the High Plains Regional Climate Center. This is a big deal. 1987, right? So I'll say that was the year I graduated from college. But since 1987, Nebraska has been home for one of only 6 regional climate centers in the whole country. And we take care of a 6-state region, give or take, and think about how we bring all of this climate data, put it in usable forms, and get it in the hands of producers and processors. So that was a big deal. We had a professor in biosystems engineering land a grant that I would call looking at variable rate technology on pivots 2.0. So we've been using data to guide pivots. Of course, if you go out to Raising Nebraska, you can be a variable rate pivot operator, and we look at soil types. Is it sandy? Is it clay? And we look at topography. But this is also incorporating things like Fitbits on corn or ground-based sensors to really have a two-way interaction, not just from satellites and topography, but also understanding what the plants are doing in the field, all designed to do more with less as you think about that. So those were just a couple of examples here in the last 7 to 10 days, and certainly since we visited, there's countless numbers of stories, so it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and just with everything you've talked about, there's just so much that we're pulling from all different sectors of ag, all different parts of the state, but it's so interesting how this just all kind of fits into the pie of what IANR is accomplishing and able to do.
Yeah, when you have a big umbrella, I guess, or a big tent, you can fit a lot of parts and pieces, but again, at the end of the day, it's thinking about how do we, in Nebraska, third largest ag economy, produce food, fuel, feed, and fiber for this growing world. How do we do it in a way that takes care of our water, our land for those next 6 generations? And how do we take care of the people, the families, the communities that produce that food, fuel, feed, and fiber? And that comes down to profitability. So when you have that kind of a mission, you can certainly think about a lot of ways to make a connection. And that's exactly what we do every day in the Institute of Ag and Natural Resources.
All right. Thank you, sir. Definitely appreciate
Thanks,
your time.
Troy. Appreciate it.